To start off our gumball machine project, I'm going to give you a piece of 1x6 material. It actually measures 3/4 of an inch thick by 5.5 inches wide. We're going to use MDF, or medium density fiberboard, for the top and the bottom of the gumball machine. So we need to cut this piece of material up into some rough sizes to start. So we're going to cut two 12-inch sections and an 8-inch section. These are just rough cuts, so they don't have to be exactly the dimensions here, but they need to be close, and they have to be square because we're going to be using that to cut off all the individual parts. So they need to be square before we can do that. So I'm going to go over to the sliding miter saw and make these couple of rough cuts. Now when we look at our plan, we've got the bottom piece and the top piece that are going to be made from MDF material. So we don't have to worry about those right now. We're worried about parts A down to E. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square pieces and a disc. If I look right here, I'm going to cut out this disc out of part of this square piece. That's what this 8-inch piece is going to be used for. So we're going to set that one off to the side for now. We're concerned about this square piece, this one, and this one. So we're going to get those out of the two 12-inch rough size pieces that we just cut. So as I'm looking at this first 12-inch piece, I'm going to first make sure that the piece is square. So I'm going to take my square, drop it down on the edge, and I shouldn't see an uneven amount of light across the blade here. If it's not square, you can go back and trim it down again so it is. It's very important that it's square, that way everything fits together nice and flush, just like our plan. So in this piece, I can measure off 5.5 inches. It should be the same as the width of another piece here, because all of our pine pieces need to cross the grain patterns as they go up. So one layer might have the grain going this direction, the next layer it's going to go this direction, and then the next layer we're going this direction. So every time it keeps switching. That's going to help build some rigidity and strength for our project here. So I can cross cut it here, and then I'm going to do the same thing from the other end. I'm going to measure off 5.5 inches. Then you can draw a nice square line across here. And then all of this should be scrap. So I'm going to mark off this piece exactly the same, and then I'm going to go and cut that material off. I'm going to make sure that the length matches the width after I cut it. Alright, so after cutting all my pieces down to size, I've got perfect 5.5-inch squares here. I should be able to take them, and like I said before, take it across the grain, and the length here should match the width. So we're going to keep stacking these up, and each one should match here. Nice and smooth on all sides. Little tip for you, just like we talked about with the miter saw, always cut your pieces a little long. If you cut them long, you can always bump cut them down to that perfect length. So that's what I did with these. I cut them just a little bit long, then I did several bump cuts until that length matched the width. So now I'm left with 4 squares, and I still have this 8-inch piece that I'm going to cut another 5.5-inch square plus that little disc.